Oh, in the 60s, right around all of the civil rights movements and the Watts riot, Venice residents, myself and lots of other people became engaged in community activities and working to see what we could do to improve the community. And the federal government at that time was proposing to issue money, grants for what they call the Summer Crash Program. And that was in the summer of 1966. I wrote the proposal and we got funded. It was federal government's effort across the country to try to kind of quiet things down and not have a repeat of the Watts riot. So they were putting money into the community to give jobs and the community to invest in their own selves, so that people would be involved in doing positive things rather than getting involved in destructive things. So we began to, we started a program called Project Action, and we rented a building down on what was at that time Washington Street, which is now Abbott Kinney. And when we got the money, we had programs like job preparation, teaching people how to fill out applications and go to job interviews. We also started a community beautification program where we went around to everyone's home and knocked on doors in teams to ask people what they would like to see in their community in terms of beautification and improvements. And at that time we didn't have a lot of meeting places for large groups, and so we had initially asked Reverend Holmes about using his church. And Reverend Holmes was a very conservative, reserved Baptist minister. He had a very strong, upstanding demeanor. And he initially said no to us. So myself and Robert Stewart went to his church on a Sunday, and the church was across the street now from where the existing church is, the original First Baptist Church. And it's what's common to most churches when they have visitors, they ask you to stand up or they recognize you. So Robert and I stood up when they asked for visitors, and we introduced ourselves, and then we said that Reverend Holmes had not allowed us to use his church for community meetings, and we were there to ask him formally why, and could we not use his church because it was a community church and he should be involved in the community. And so he didn't like that at all. You could tell. He didn't say anything from the pulpit, but you could see the body language and the expression. So we went back the next Sunday and we didn't get recognized as visitors. And so we picketed the church. A group of us the following Sunday picketed the church with signs saying that Reverend Holmes was not being helpful to the community by allowing us to use the facilities for the church. And so then he changed his mind.
He caved.
Yes. Yeah.
So how old were you, Naomi, and what was your background to be in that role at that time?
I was 18, just graduated from high school. And when I mentioned that, I came from a long line of Baptist ministers. My great-great-grandfather was Taylor Nightingale, and he was pastor of Bill Street Baptist Church, which is a historical monument on Bill Street in Memphis, Tennessee. And he was a cohort with Frederick Douglass and Ida B. Wells. He owned a newspaper called The Free Speech, which Ida B. Wells used to write stories for his paper. She later became part owner and then of the paper. And she would write stories, as you might know, about the lynchings that were going on in the South. And her stories were quite upfront about the racism that was going on. And she wrote a story accusing the town leadership for a lynching. And that evening, they broke into my great-grandfather's office, his newspaper, and he was not there, but his partner was there, and they took him to jail and locked him up. Ida B. Wells was away in New York. She was a teacher, and she had gone to New York for some event. And later that night, the vigilante group took his partner out of the jail and lynched him.
Oh.
And my great-grandfather left town and went to Oklahoma. He was a target for them because he had also told his congregation to bear arms and to protect themselves. So I think I got a lot of his DNA, even though my mother made us Methodists.